So for this particular example, we're talking about a graph that represents the battery life or charge as a percentage. That's the y-axis versus the amount of hours the battery life has left. And so there's a linear relationship. So we need to figure out a couple of things. The first thing that we need to figure out is, what does this mean? So right here, this is actually hours of battery life that are being used, is what I should put. So let's put used. So what I'm comparing is my X value is the hours used versus the percentage of the battery life, right? So in other words, when the battery has not been used at all, when it's been used 0 hours, it has 100% battery life, okay? So let's look at a few things. Well, first of all, the x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis, and that seems to occur at 8, 0, okay? Now, what that means is that the battery was used for 8 hours and it has 0% left. So the battery lasts 8 hours. Now, the y-intercept, remember the y-intercept, the x value is 0 and then the y value is 100. Now, what that means is that the battery was used 0 hours and the battery life is at 100%. It's 100% charged, okay? So there's some interesting things that we can do. One is I can write an equation based on that. So how do I figure out the slope? Well, first of all, I know that the y-intercept is my b term, and my b term is 100, right? Why is that important? Because we're going to write an equation of a line that says y equals mx plus b. Well, now I know what the b is. So now I just need to find the slope. So to find the slope, I've just got to plug these two values in. The slope, m, right? The slope is m. We can find that by plugging in the second y, subtracting the first y from it, all over the second x, and subtracting the first x from it. So I'm going to label this as x sub 1, y sub 1, and I'm going to label this one as x sub 2, y sub 2. So that means that I'm going to say 100 minus 0 all over 0 minus 8. So I got to be careful here. I have 100 divided by negative 8, and that equals a negative 25 over 2, right? If I divide the top and bottom by 4, 100 divided by 4 gives me 25, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. So 100 over 8 reduces down to 25 over 2. And let me just write that out so it's a little clearer. I'm dividing this by, I'm dividing this by 4, and I'm dividing this by 4. And that's how I get the reduction in my fraction. So what that tells me is that my equation of the line is y equals negative 25 over 2 times x plus 100. So that's the slope-intercept form. If I want the standard form, I just put x and y on the same side. So I could do that by multiplying the whole equation by 2, right? And that will give me 2y plus, or I'm sorry, equals, actually, you know what I'm going to do? Let's do this on a separate video. I'm going to stop the video here and then post that to the website real quick.